You don't mind, I'm finna play with your mind. It's Reverend Eagle condemns man. We caught up in a moment of time. And time never was when man was not. We got a situation where Lord, we in the city of Beloit, and we trying to figure out, is it true or false that zookeepers say he a real auditor? We got spider webs everywhere. I mean, look at that one. And then we gotta look at that one. And then look at her moving. We want to scientifically notate the dangerous chemicals, bacteria that spiders got in them versus non-spiders. Let's see how many spiders we could stop rookies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they're not come out here at night. And what we trying to figure out is, was Zookeeper Show a real thing? Did it really do something for the people and the public? Did it teach them why we should spend money and why we should come out here and clean up? We wanna give a special thanks to the people that don't clean up, but they get to collect the paycheck. And then we want to give a special thanks to the people that do collect the paycheck, but they shouldn't be collecting the paycheck because they in uniform and they ain't said nothing about this here type of situation. I mean, they might be scared. They might be under some contract clause. And then we meet Eagle. And then we meet Zookeeper. We want to shout out the Trump campaign. And we might do something for Trump tonight. But Zookeeper say he got a real situation. We caught up in a real moment of time. We got spider webs everywhere. I mean, they everywhere. Look, I mean, we got the bee want to go play with the spiders. Now he's stuck. Is he gonna get out? We trying to figure this out. We got a bee that just went up there, played in the spider web of the spiders. And he made it out. And is it more than wonderful he made it out? Let's see if he make it out another shot. He want to come play with Zoo now. He want to go back in there. He might know something Eagle don't know about spider webs. But as we take a special and a close look with Zookeeper, we want to most dubiously notate the fact that we put in a petition and a writ of certiorari as a petitioner to the United States Supreme Court to bypass the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals, because the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals, oh man, it's just so sick. You can't sit out here for 1 second. And we got, these people called inspectors in the city of Beloit. Everywhere. I mean, they everywhere, people. And then no families want to come out here and eat their food. Now, when Zeus say damn people, we happen to have them everywhere. And then we want to talk about this petition for writ of certiorari. Certiorari. Zeus say he was going to the United States Supreme Court anonymously, and the people got jealous. They wanted to see it. They said, we're going to have to see this one. He has sold us a lot of things, but he has never been to the United States Supreme Court. And we want to shout out the lawyers that ain't never certified, have not been certified to delegate in the United States Supreme Court. I mean, we talking about Attorney Amy J. Doyle, Attorney Ryan Trusdale, Attorney Jasmine Baynard, and we also must dubiously notate that when you file a petition for review to the United States Supreme Court, the federal chief judge is also a defendant, a respondent, if you will, for the clarification of United States Supreme Court writ of certiorari, petition for certiorari. Eagle say he, without further ado, want to let you see really what it should be like. Eagle say he been there. People got mad. There's no way he been to the United States Supreme Court and won. And Eagle say he won so many times the United States Supreme Court, creating new president. I mean, creating new laws for the government. It was a legit government interest. And we want to shout out the city of Beloit Park as we beside the still water today, see what God gonna do for us. Eagle say he ordered into the people, and the people might not like it. The people might like it, but cause we got a lot of people that want to take your spot, but they'll never let you know they want to take your slot. And what we had, we might got a little foundation, that need to be worked on. Maybe that's why the spiders are so vicious. Look like she falling apart. And we want to notate the entryway as stop rookies, as we in it. Stop rookies. Spider webs just everywhere. And we want to see if we got any liability contract prohibition for the situation. We want to see if it's handicap accessible. We want to see a lot of things that's not here. Do we got handicap accessible ramp? We got the Lagoon Pavilion dedicated in honor of Harry Seymour, salesman, world citizen, Beloit College benefactor, Beloit booster by Beloit in 2000, committed, and city of Beloit, July 4th, 1996. I want to know if we can get a little makeup on her. I mean, she looking a little dusty, musty, and crusty. And as we talk about musty, dusty, and crusty women, we want to talk about the fact that some women may have been in position where then they ran up on Zoo, and then they played like they wanted to go on a date. And Zoo say his mind is just so vicious that when you do something out of the norm to him, he going to do something out of the norm to you. And today what we want to address is whether or not Zookeeper is even legitimately claiming to went to the United States Supreme Court, which he has. He say he has defeated many judges in many providences, territories, if you will, in this situation when we call ourselves a true Christian, a fake Christian, some type of Christian, and we say we declared in the creed that we could teach the people something they had never been taught. And Eagle say, no, he really been to the United States Supreme Court, unfortunately, and he been there quite a few times, and he has never lost. And it's baffling the geniuses of the courts. I mean, how dare this dude? I mean, this dude say he know about United States Supreme Court petition for writ of certiorari. How dare him say he has beat the police his whole life? How dare him say we ain't got no artificial intelligence, nothing? How dare him say there's so many tight budget under the government that the government ain't even thinking about the things that he has been proposing as proposals to create generational revenue for generations to come and secure jobs. I mean, if people want to get up and go to work for your company. We talking about Kingdom Company. We talking about will, test, trustament. We talking about, do you want to be a slave or do you want to be a boss? And is you willing to go to school to learn how to be the boss you want to be, or is you going to be a parasite and try to feed the people all the drugs and commit all the crime against all the people trying to prevail higher than you, and you caught up in your sin and you can't see no way out of your sin but to get somebody else caught up in your sin, and you got to pull them down. You just got to stroke them down. You just got to tell the people that you better than them because you may know a secret about a family, a loved one, a friend, a foe that you had snuck your way into their life into, and then your life into produce life through somebody else that you kicked it to. And we got so many gossips and so many rumors and so many things happening and so many of that happening that's not of God. We got so many people in relationships that should not be in relationships. We got so many people committed to each other that should not be committed to each other. We got so much ungodly conduct going on in the kingdom of God. And Zookeeper say his mission at this sole and profound purpose is to get you now to think outside the will of God, is to be now outside the will of God. And what that means is you ain't read your Bible and tried to live out one scripture. Maybe that's why you ain't in alignment with the will. But then we got those that do know the scriptures and they molest the scriptures to do their demonic activities. So we want to focus on these people. We want to focus on the people that have never heard about God. We want to focus on the people that's in the middle. We want to focus on the people that know about God, but they may be so afraid. I mean, you know, we got a situation where Zookeeper say the judge has created a system where even the police scared to come and say, hey, we did Zookeeper wrong. We want to confess our sin. We want to do things right. We want to see things from Zookeeper's point of view, because we have never in our life been graced by another human and human skin color that's been put in presidential subpoenas and been to the United States Supreme Court like Zookeeper claimed he has, and has done so many things like Zookeeper claimed he has, and has walked the people through. And if you know about a Zookeeper is physically ill today. But Zookeeper say no illness can be prayed away. You got to have a strong connection with God. And as we talking about whether or not we connected, we disconnected, what happened, why it happened, we want to throw all that madness and chaos and human drama in that skillet at this moment outside the skillet. We want to take it off the frying pan. We want to put it right where it needs to be. We want to throw it in the garbage, because right now, at this moment, we're trying to elevate to a new elevation, higher than any elevation on which you have elevated in your mind as a human, where you say you had the opportunity to see somebody on TV that wasn't an accredited lawyer, but he ate accredited lawyers for breakfast, lunch, and dinner anytime that it was time for a courtroom situation. You got to understand the dynamic of what the Zookeeper is saying. He said the United States Supreme Court has never denied him an opportunity to be heard, because when he come with his petition for certiorari, you got to understand he done it as a prisoner. So under Johnson versus Avery, he was able to do this, and the prison staff was letting him delegate. And you got to understand, whenever he went to the United States Supreme Court, the way he proposed his petition for writ of certiorari was so unique that it got the attention of the justices. And the justices, most notably, had agreed and sided with the Zookeeper. But the Zookeeper say, for employment contract clauses and protection of all the people that's involved and invested in this situation, what we gonna do is say anonymously, Zookeeper had been to the court in the United States Supreme Court, just like President Trump, with no money. And he had no lawyer. And he had to study books. I mean, he had to hit these books so hard, I mean, that even Harvard students couldn't even keep up with him. He say even Harvard students could not keep up with him, because when the people out enjoying themselves with their family, their loved ones, and friends, Zoo is still studying. He's still working. He can listen to music. He can study. He can have a conversation. He's studying. And today's focus is, Reverend Zookeeper say, we 3 days away from a petition to the United States Supreme Court by petition of certiorari, by writ of certiorari. And without further ado, we don't want to bore you. It's the Zookeeper. He say the smartest man the humans have ever seen. They have never met a man like Zookeeper. He just don't stop. And he say he drive the people worse than Donald Driver when it comes to driving. And we driving. And we talking about slave drivers did try to drive the slave master whip on Eagle. They tried to hit him so hard that then he come back so cold, and now they trying to figure out how they gonna bounce back from going to the United States Supreme Court, already knowing that the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals, case number 2024, 1653, two justices that's over all the rookies in the lower court in the federal Wisconsin District Court. They said Zookeeper was right. Zookeeper say the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals has ruled in his favor against the chief judge in Madison, against three attorneys, and they kept doing it. And then they asked on 8/12/2024 for the opposing counsels to submit a status report. And the judge illegally, once again, interfered in the litigation process of the opposing counsel. It was something he shouldn't have done. He thought it was cute. He thought it was going to be the most beautiful thing in the world to interfere with Zookeeper, as he say he was on the mission. And his primary mission was to uplift the fallen humanity. All those who say they love God, but they may not have a pastor able to push them past the provocation thresholds and the mind games that the demons would play if they had built and established the 501c under the covenant of God's name. Jesus Christ is his name. We must open up with scripture. 1 Timothy, 2nd chapter, verse 5. For there's only one mediator between man and God. His name is Jesus Christ, our Lord, our Savior, our Master. He come in flesh, and he protect those who say his name. And when you say his name, you got to declare, decree, and affirm that you believe and the things that you say and the knowledge that he going to give when the timetable is revealed through his invisible clock. Time never was when man was not. It's eagle. He say hitting you with that snot. And the snot of today is we at the city of Beloit, at the park. And the park is so out of date, out of code. It's just sick, the things that's happened. Then we got some new construction cones up. Maybe they heard Reverend Eagle Condensed Man say that Donald Trump should have been put artificial intelligence web design traffic control up for the government and stop even the thought, the fantasy of a Trump tax to help the government increase. Now, what we need to do is rewrite legislation. And now we need all states, all cities, all towns, all provinces to push the government on the pushback where we saying we finna start putting in petition for writ of certiorari because we got to go to United States Supreme Court in order to secure these funds. And Eagle say he has been to the United States Supreme Court. Is such a beautiful thing to ever go there. And you got to understand that the United States Supreme Court will not and shall not and does not accept any frivolous litigation. They will throw your litigation right out the window if you dare say that you knew what you was doing. So Eagle say, he always give them a little bit. It's me. It's a suit. We on the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals bypass because we had the Chief James D. Peterson most wonderfully break Supreme Court rule, Thompson versus Clark, 596 U.S. /2022, so repeatedly, so redundantly, so egregiously, so prejudicially, so biasedly through the process. He abused the process to try to discourage a litigant from being able to say that he had a valid claim in the United States federal court, the district court. But then the judge and Eagle got to fighting because the judge had simply become a fan of YouTube channels that Zoo created because he wanted to monitor the fake death threats that the humans had created. So when they created fake death threats, then Eagle say he had come up with something like this. He say, we got an exhibit 8 in a skillet, and we got some issues that we going to present to the United States Supreme Court by certiorari. Issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, and if you don't mind, we got the second set of documents. The second set. The second set of documents in support of pro se petitioner, plaintiff, appellant, requesting to bypass the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals because case number 241653 has already been resolved. And they told Western District of Wisconsin Chief James D. Peterson, the chief judge, hey, you had violated this man's right. You didn't give him right in evidence. You violated federal Supreme Court rule this, federal Supreme Court ruled that, federal Supreme Court ruled this, and you showed a major disability to your ability to articulate and analyze case laws and facts and scenarios as presented by opposing counsels without you interfering in the litigation. And we know that a judge cannot interfere in litigation. So what we have here was a superior court, through the heresy of the courts, come back and say, hold on, now federal Supreme Court rule say this, and you're under employee contracts of this, and you must adhere to these contract clauses at all times under strict policy. Under no situation should you deviate from these policies because these are mandatory, they're not discretionary. And what we had was a situation where the zookeepers say it might be appropriate to, go to the United States Supreme Court. He say he going to the United States Supreme Court because they love him and they know when he coming. So he say nobody write out they petition for writ of search warrants to the United States Supreme Court in the fashion that the zookeeper do. So he say this is page 1 of the request, and we dealing with what we have is the procedural posture, the introduction, if you will, of how zookeeper say he alleges that his rights was violated. So we got all this, and then we got all that, and then we come right back with the jurisdictional statement because the court said there's no way I can entertain your request to put a petition for review in if it's untimely. So zookeepers say he got all the jurisdictional statements that will need to be statements if we really know what we're doing, and we say we want to get to the United States Supreme Court. And zookeepers say he also want to put on YouTube that Amy J. Doyle, attorney Ryan Trusdale, attorney Jasmine Baynard, they certified to delegate only in Western District of Wisconsin and only in the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals. And the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals then already said that people have lost. I mean, based on the pleadings, the things that's wrote on the paper. Not the political connections, not the manipulations we can do in the courtroom. And the Supreme Court is going to have a ball with this because, zookeepers say we want to establish new precedent. And if you don't like his jurisdictional statement that you've seen then, you can see this one. We got this one and this one. And for good cause showing, now we can extend the time. But we got a real situation where we going to United States Supreme Court because zookeepers say he was violated by the very people that may have wanted to see whether or not zookeeper was able to really get us by petition a writ of certiorari to the United States Supreme Court because people said he was ignorant. He couldn't read, he couldn't write, and he want to let you know what the table of exhibits look like. I mean, we got a table of exhibits. We got them all listed. We're going to put them in. And it's a 3-day project. So Zoo say when you go into the United States Supreme Court, you must be very careful about the things that you say because you got to grab their attention right away. And Zoo say he was in a district court already in the United States Supreme Court telling the people he was on his way. And they wanted to see whether or not he really meant what he said. And Zeus say he having a hell of a time. And he want to shout out his TV wife because he said, baby, I went to the United States Supreme Court so many times on petition for writ of certiorari. You just did not understand how educated the zookeeper was. He said he was the bravest, smartest criminal people ever seen in their life. And then they just could not stop delegate in the snot of it. And Zook say we got a situation here Well, we got Exhibit A, and we got legal jurisdiction authority. Zeus say we got the thing looking good. Oh my, look at her. She looking good. She looking beautiful. If you don't mind, Zeus say Zeus say Zeus say Zeus say let's read it one time. Legal authority. And the legal authority is the jurisdictional statement. But see, Zookeeper, he give you legal authority and he also give you jurisdiction. He wants you to take cognizance of the case because you have took cognizance of so many cases. And when Zeus say he going to the United States Supreme Court, he really going to the United States Supreme Court. And Zeus say once the United States Supreme Court approve or deny his request, he still win. He cannot lose. You have to understand what happened. Zeus say the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals in Chicago, they say they caught the judge cheating on federal Supreme Court rules, violations, policies, processes, whether or not Zookeeper stated a claim under Arnott versus Webster. And then Zookeeper say he got a judicial bias complaint in and 3 office of attorney, office of lawyer regulation complaint in on the people who tried to play with him for 3.5 years. It's a sick situation because they thought they might have been smarter than Zoo, but they have never in their life, and this the brief cover, they have never in their life been to the United States Supreme Court of America by certiorari and won. And Zeus say he has. And he has beat so many judges. And shout out to Chief Judge James D. Bailey. He knows Zookeeper got something cooked up in the skillet, and he say we going to United States Supreme Court about it. And even if it don't make it to United States Supreme Court about it, 7th Circuit of Wisconsin, 7th Circuit Court of Appeals in Chicago's case number 241653 has already declared and decreed by docket now of the record that Zookeeper himself had beat the accredited attorneys. Now, these were accredited attorneys. Now, you got to understand what happened. If you don't mind, you got to understand what happened. Zeus say, as we was, stop, rookies, stop. You play too much. Stop, rookies. And Zeus say, as we were talking about the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals, we want to see what they did in favor of Zeus against the chief judge, against attorney Amy J. Doyle, switchboard operator, at 21 CV 555 JDP at docket 150. And then we want to shout out 21 CV 555 JDP at docket 149. It's something that the police put together. They were trying to object to the Zookeeper's appeal. He say, hold on, there's no way I can be denied this. I've been writing grants and proposals my whole life against the police in prison, out of prison. And I've been to the United States Supreme Court so many times that court is just like taking a shower and getting up and winning. But then I run into a system and a whole bunch of humans that say they were smarter than God. They were smarter than the government. And Zeus say he don't take kindly to those type of things because government, now they got to make sure government is established by government. And the government ended up sending a zookeeper, this woman named Victoria A. Baker. And she wanted to play with Zoo for a spell of time. And time never was, and man was not, because we all going back to the dirt. And as we all going back to the dirt, we want to give a shout out to, Zoo relative. It's the 4th year anniversary. Shout out to your TT. Big Tiny. Everybody knows Bernie Stewart, Big Tiny. She always got a smile. And Zeus say, whatever tribulation calls a situation, he come from a long line of people delegating, elevating, and rising above all human chaos and drama in a time of storm, in a time of testing, and in a time of season, and in a time of testing. Eagle say he been challenged by the government to see whether or not he really can get to the petition certiorari to the United States Supreme Court, and he say he has never not got a case accepted by these people. They love him. How can you dig it? So, if you don't mind, Zeus say we want to get to the issues presented. As we know, you got to be specific. I mean, so specific. It got to be so specific in the issue. It can't be no more than 2 or 3 sentences. Your camera check of the situation, which you want to let the government know that's important to the government. And it's going to bring a resolve to a conflict that's been brewing for so long. And zookeepers say he's been sued for thousands of trillions of dollars, and he was asked on a date. I mean, under false pretense, robbed him of his imagination. And as we rob each other of our imagination, zookeepers say he want to rob you of your imagination today. He was played with by the police. He was played with by the judges. He was played with by the attorney who tried to represent these people. And we got about we got 6 issues that we gonna fully discuss with the United States Supreme Court by petition and writ of certiorari. What is the issues? Well, the first issue is the Chief James D. Peterson failed to stay within the bounds of institutional government employee contracts that he had to adhere to as he was employed as a judge in the Western District of Wisconsin Court. And his continued molestation to United States Supreme Court President has brought a fear and a phobia to all those who have cases before him. Issue 1. Issue 2, Chief Judge James D. Peterson showed a deliberate indifference and disability to articulating and analyzing facts according to United States Supreme Court President. 3, Chief Judge James D. Peterson intentionally, viciously, bodaciously, and outrageously, egregiously, as a fan of YouTube channels created by R.Zoo, Reverend Eagle, Timothy Lee Stewart, pastor, had fell in love with the pastor, and then when he said something that he did not like, he took it out on his litigation. And we got to separate litigation from social media because we got a lot of people that love Zookeeper all of a sudden. And issue 4, Chief Judge James D. Peterson showed a habit, deliberate indifference to the safety of the public and the private citizens who are poor and who would like to do deposition against police officers who knowingly had falsely arrested private citizens, such as R.Zoo, through his judicial screening under Federal Rule Civil Procedure Rule 8 and Arnott versus West. And under Gacho versus Williams, we think in our head and our hearts that he showed bias beyond the ability of a normal human trying to wiggle around a piece of festooning for the government. And stop bookies. Let's clean it up. Issue 4. Chief Judge James D. Peterson showed a pattern of deliberate indifference to following United States Supreme Court rules and case laws. Issue 4. It's cleaned up. It's a camera check. Chief Judge James D. Peterson, 21 CV 555 JDP at docket 145 and at docketed on 9/13/2024 showed a deliberate indifference to following Supreme Court rules, policies, procedures, and mandatory screening case law. Issue number 5. Chief Judge James D. Peterson has created a hostile working environment for those employed through him, by him, and for lawsuits being screened under color of law and employee demonstration discriminations alleged by private citizens. So let's clean that up. So we got to give it to the United States Supreme Court right. We say issue number 5, Chief Judge James D. Peterson showed a habit of exuding authority beyond that prescribed by the United States Supreme Court local rules for district court, appellate court, and the federal Supreme Court in his determinations and opinions that he adjudged against the plaintiff, Timothy Lee Stewart. And issue 6, oh my, issue 6 is so critical that it has robbed the police of their imagination. They have never been placed in a situation where they had illegally ran up on somebody looking for trouble and tried to have a judge help them out in the midst of wiggling out the trouble under the summary judgment masquerade. And then, Lord behold, zookeepers say, and his mind, his heart, he fell in love with summary judgment more than he fell in love with the bacteria of a woman's womb. And he has not been sleeping with women because summary judgment has robbed him of his imagination. And now all of a sudden, it is robbing the humans who thought that they could rob his imagination of their imagination. So let's lock issue 6 in as we delegate and we prepare it. Now, this speech for the United States government, because Zook say he take on any attorney general, any state, any federal president, attorney general who felt like that it wasn't a good idea when zookeeper called their name to come and help the zoo, because he say he had way more than people who thought that they had abundance, but they never had abundance because there ain't no artificial intelligence, web design, traffic control, ain't no artificial meal, field, seal, feed, fertilizer, steel, aluminum. Ain't no artificial intelligent programming car designers around. Ain't no intelligent bikes. Ain't no artificial intelligent home design. Ain't no artificial intelligent traffic control. Ain't no artificial intelligent nothing, because the government ain't seeing petitions for review because the lawyers ain't certified to delegate in the United States Supreme Court, such as the Eagle. So Eagle say he was approached by an officer and he told her, just wait a minute, babe, because I am who they say I'm not. Can you dig it? Now, I say I am who they say I'm not because the people, they hate Zoo. You know, Zoo been rich his whole life. He been standing on the police their whole life. He been standing on all they judges. And he don't need no papers when he comes to the courtroom. You see, Zoo say he really the real deal. He ain't got one brief in his hand. And he quoting this stuff like it's just coming out his nose like a booger would fall out your nose. It's just so natural. He say he reprogrammed his brain like a computer, and now all of a sudden smart people who thought they were smart not looking smart no more, because now they looking slow because they ran up on the richest man that was ever rich, who had the best plan for the land. But we got a lot of broke people around. We got a lot of broke women around. We got a lot of silly clowns around. We got a lot of people who thought that they could stop the zookeeper from manifesting greatness on all the people who thought that they was manifesting greatness, caught up in they sin. Oh, they got Zoo. He down right now. He ain't gonna never bounce back. And Zoo say that, damn, that was a shame. Shouldn't have did that. You can't count the boss out. You can never count the boss out. To say he really going to the United States Supreme Court on petition for writ of certiorari, and he really know that Chief Judge James E. Peterson has violated every policy, every process of the United States Constitution, and we know that whether or not the United States Supreme Court entertain this petition for writ of certiorari is whether or not Chief Judge James E. Peterson going to lose his career, because we got open records requests to figure out whether or not Chief Judge James E. Peterson is losing his mind. Because it was a situation where they challenged the competency of the zookeeper. They told everybody in town he was mentally retarded. He was insane. He was clinically insane. He needed to be put in the institutional asylum. He needed to be doing this. He needed to be doing that. But if you had already been to the United States Supreme Court as many times as our zookeeper say he been to the United States Supreme Court and won, maybe we wouldn't have played this game with zookeeper. Or maybe we wouldn't have. But now it's a little too late for us to go back on the things that we have done. And zookeepers say he want to lock you in from a real good point of view of what it means to really put a proper situation before the United States Supreme Court. And what we doing here is giving you a little brief synopsis of what's finna happen. To my rookies who, thought that they had connection. It was sick. They thought they was connected somehow. Amy Joyle, Ryan Trussdale, Jasmine Baynard. Let's go to the footnote. The 7th Circuit Court of Appeals, case number 24-1653, on June 28, 2024, already remanded the matter to the district court to reopen 21 CV 555 JDP at court order 161, but the district court found no basis to amend or alter his illegal judgment. C21 CV 555 JDP on 9/13/2024. And we must know what happened on 9/13/2024. Zookeeper let the judge know that all the games was over with. We gonna stop playing game. We gonna get the judicial complaint in on you, and let you take a good look at yourself and all the things you've been doing behind the scenes. When it was time for you to really judge, did you judge right? We took oaths and we took declaration, we took vow, we swore before God, and Lord behold, we searched the judge up on the open records request. He say he believe in God. He would not go against God. He won't do this. He won't do that. But here it is. We got a situation where zookeepers say the judge just arrogantly, downright frivolously, putting in motions, denying federal law. So we got to have him looked at. Maybe he been bought a little bit too many times under Gotcho versus Williams, and all the government people know that he could be bought. We want to get to Supreme Court Rule 13, petition for certiorari time for petitioning jurisdictional statements. We want to let you know what's going on here. It's a real thing. It's the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals, case number 24-1653. Zookeeper say he had went with no date for quite some time. He been with 700 women, but he say this, see this payout. See, it's about to pay out rookies. The boss say it's about to pay out rookies. It's about to pay out We suing for thousands of trillions or zillions of dollars. We trying to get a whole new government in play. Not just a fake one. You can go buy like you go buy candy from the store. No, we don't want that type of government no more. You can't buy this government. You can't pick up your phone and give him your credit card information. You can't go sneak him no cash. You can't do that because these people know that their lives and their longevity, a financially stable stability. When they woke up in college and were walking the street and meditating and daydreaming about the opportunities that will manifest before their eyes, the contracts they was going to get to review under civil law. And we want to let you know that a petition for writ of search and warrant can go civil or criminal. And we got a lot of rookies that want to be like Zoo all of a sudden. Down with Zoo all of a sudden, try to come stun on Zoo all of a sudden. We got a lot of people that think that they smarter than Zoo and went gay. Now they popular with the gay people. Went straight, now they popular with the straight people. I mean, you got a lot of clowns all the time. Police station, not at the station, that thought that they were smarter than Zoo. Who was you? What station you work for? Who called you to Zoo? We got a petition for review, and we going to the United States Supreme Court. And I'm the best auditor in the world, and I got the most money than anybody to ever have money. But I won't cash my coins in because you already gave me all your coins. You thought I was your slave, but now you my slave for the rest of your life and your family life. So your kids owe me money now. Zeus say he want all your money. He don't care who you work for. You pay with him. You sent fake police officer to deal with him. He the boss. We don't have no police around here going to the United States Supreme Court. We had a judge that thought he was going to outsmart Zudo. It was laughable matter. It was stupid. It was frivolous. It was racist. It was